The room falls silent. Kim Jong Un sits motionless across from Sarah Chun, the British journalist who just called him a coward on live television. His famous smile spreads slowly across his face, but his eyes tell a different story. Every camera in the ornate Pyongyang palace captures this moment. Every intelligence agency on Earth is watching. Every diplomat holds their breath, because what happens in the next few minutes will either prevent a crisis or trigger one. Sarah leans forward, her voice cutting through the tension like a blade. She's already gone further than any Western journalist has dared in decades. The insults she's hurled aren't subtle. They're direct, personal, and designed to provoke. Kim's security team shifts uncomfortably. His translator stumbles over the words, barely able to repeat what Sarah just said. But Kim just smiles. That terrifying, calculated smile that the world has learned to fear. What Sarah doesn't know yet is that she's walked into something far more dangerous than an interview. She thinks she's exposing a dictator. She thinks her courage will be celebrated. But in 30 seconds, Kim Jong Un will do something that no one predicted. Something that will be analyzed by military strategists for years. Something that will make Sarah question whether she'll leave North Korea alive. The cameras keep rolling. The world keeps watching. And Kim's smile grows wider. Before we reveal what happened next, let us know where you're watching from. This story will challenge everything you think you know about power, control, and the thin line between bravery and recklessness. But here's what nobody expected. The most dangerous moment wasn't the insult. It was what Kim said in response. And when you hear it, you'll understand why every government scrambled to respond. The question is, are you ready for the truth? 48 hours earlier, Sarah Chun received the opportunity of her career. An exclusive interview with Kim Jong Un, arranged through back channels that took 18 months to establish. The British Broadcasting Network had been negotiating this access since the last nuclear test. Sarah, known for her fearless reporting from conflict zones, was the natural choice. She'd interviewed war criminals, terrorist leaders, and corrupt politicians. She never backed down. She never softened her questions. And she certainly never showed fear. The palace hall where they meet is designed to intimidate. Massive portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il tower over the space. Red velvet curtains frame the windows. Gold ornaments catch the studio lights that crews spent 2 days positioning. 20 North Korean officials line the walls, stone-faced and silent. 8 armed guards stand at attention near every exit. The message is clear. Kim controls everything here. This is his kingdom, his rules, his game. Sarah enters wearing a navy blazer and white shirt, her press credentials visible, her recording equipment checked 3 times by security. She's briefed herself obsessively. She knows the statistics, the prison camps, the executions, the failed harvests, the nuclear threats. She's memorized the names of defectors who've testified about atrocities. She's reviewed every public appearance Kim has made, studying his patterns, his tells, his weaknesses. She thinks she's prepared. Kim Jong Un enters exactly on time, surrounded by his inner circle. He wears his signature dark suit and distinctive haircut. His movements are deliberate, almost choreographed. When he sits, everyone else remains standing until he gestures. The power dynamics couldn't be clearer. He extends his hand to Sarah. She shakes it. His grip is firm, his smile pleasant. He speaks in Korean, his translator immediately rendering it into English. Welcome to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. I hope you'll tell the truth about what you see here. Sarah smiles back. That's exactly what I intend to do. The translator hesitates before translating her response. Kim's smile doesn't waver, but something flickers in his eyes. The interview begins. The first questions are diplomatic, almost friendly. But Sarah is just warming up. She's building towards something. And everyone in that room can feel the storm coming. Stay with us because what happens next will shock you. Don't miss what Kim does when Sarah finally drops her diplomatic mask. The shift happens in minute 7. Sarah abandons the pretense of diplomatic courtesy. Her voice hardens, her questions sharpen. Mr. Kim, satellite images show at least 6 labor camps where an estimated 200,000 people are imprisoned. Many are there simply because a family member criticized the government. How do you justify enslaving your own citizens? The translator's voice wavers as he conveys the question. Kim's officials exchange nervous glances. One of them whispers urgently to another. The security personnel's postures stiffen. This isn't how these interviews usually go. Normally, foreign journalists tread carefully, asking difficult questions but wrapping them in diplomatic language. Sarah has just called them labor camps and used the word enslaved. On camera, in Kim's palace, Kim's response is measured, almost amused. You call them labor camps. We call them re-education facilities. Every nation has prisons, Miss Chen. Every nation deals with criminals and dissidents. Why is it that when America incarcerates millions, you call it justice, but when we do it, you call it slavery? Sarah doesn't flinch. Because in America, people aren't imprisoned for 3 generations because their grandfather told a joke about the president. Because in Britain, we don't execute people with anti-aircraft guns for falling asleep in meetings. Shall I continue? The room temperature seems to drop 10 degrees. Kim's smile remains fixed, but his fingers drum once on the armrest of his chair. A North Korean official steps forward, clearly preparing to end the interview. Kim raises one hand slightly. The official freezes. Kim wants to hear what else Sarah has prepared. You mention executions, Kim says softly. Tell me, Miss Chen, how many people has your country killed in Iraq? In Afghanistan? In Libya? You drop bombs from the sky and call it liberation. We maintain order in our own borders and you call us monsters. It's fascinating how morality changes depending on who holds the weapon. Sarah pulls out a folder. These are testimonies from defectors. Kim Sung-min, who escaped in 2019, describes watching his sister starve to death during the famine your government denied was happening. Park Yun-mi, who escaped at 13, describes being trafficked because that was preferable to staying. Lee Sun-ok, who spent 13 years in Camp 14, describes torture methods I won't repeat on camera. These aren't Western propaganda. These are your people telling their stories. Kim's smile finally fades. He leans forward slightly, his gaze locked on Sarah. The translator looks terrified, clearly unsure whether to translate what's coming next. Because Kim is about to say something that will change the entire tone of this interview. And what Sarah doesn't realize is that she's no longer interviewing a world leader. She's confronting one. And confrontation, in this palace, has consequences. But what Kim says next will reveal something nobody expected about the man behind the propaganda. Kim stands. The movement is so unexpected that 2 security guards instinctively reach for their weapons. He waves them off, his eyes never leaving Sarah. He walks slowly toward her, hands clasped behind his back. Sarah remains seated, heart pounding, but refusing to show fear. Kim stops 3 feet away. You speak about my people, Kim says, his voice quiet but carrying across the silent room. You wave papers and testimonies. You think you understand North Korea because you've read reports written by defectors who sold their stories for money and protection. Let me ask you something, Miss Chin. Have you ever led a nation? Sarah meets his gaze. No, but I don't need to be a chef to know when food is poisoned. Several officials gasp audibly. The translator hesitates, looking to Kim for guidance. Kim nods. Translate it. The translator does, his voice barely above a whisper. Kim's expression darkens, but something else appears there too. Not quite respect, but recognition. He's realizing that Sarah Chun isn't like the other journalists who've sat in that chair. She's not intimidated by the setting, the security, or the power differential. She's genuinely willing to push until something breaks. You want truth? Kim asks. Let me give you truth. When I took power, I inherited a nation starving, isolated, and surrounded by enemies. South Korea, armed by America, conducting military exercises on our border every year. Japan, still refusing to apologize for colonial occupation. China, treating us like a vassal state. And the United States, with nuclear weapons pointed at us from 7 different directions. You ask why we develop weapons. Because without them, we would be Iraq. We would be Libya. We would be Syria. destroyed by the very nations that now lecture us about human rights. Sarah doesn't let the philosophical deflection work. That doesn't answer the question about the prison camps, about the executions, about the families torn apart. You're justifying geopolitical strategy while your own people eat grass to survive. Grass. Kim's voice rises for the first time. When did you visit our countryside, Miss Chun? When did you speak to our farmers? Or do you only believe the stories that confirm what you already think? Yes, we have faced hardship. Yes, we have made difficult decisions. But do you know what colonialism looks like? Do you know what it means to have your nation's resources stolen, your people enslaved, your culture erased? That's what the West did to half the world. We refuse to let it happen to us. Sarah pulls out her phone. I have video here, taken by hidden cameras. Children picking through garbage for food. Families living in caves because their homes were demolished. Public executions for the crime of watching South Korean television. Don't tell me I don't understand when the evidence is overwhelming. Kim stares at the phone, then back at Sarah. For a long moment, nobody moves. Then Kim does something that shocks everyone in the room. He reaches out and gently pushes Sarah's phone down. Not aggressively, almost sadly. Do you really want to play this game? He asks quietly. Because I have videos too. Of drone strikes that killed children at weddings. Of torture in secret prisons your government pretends don't exist. Of economic sanctions that starve populations while politicians claim moral high ground. Shall we compare atrocities, Miss Chun? Shall we count bodies? Because I promise you, the West has produced far more graves than North Korea ever could. The confrontation has reached a tipping point. Sarah realizes that this isn't just an interview anymore. This is ideological warfare, playing out in real time on camera. Every answer, every question is being calculated for maximum impact. And she's about to ask the one question that Kim can't deflect with geopolitics or whataboutism. The one question that strikes at his personal fear. The question that will either end the interview or reveal something the world has never seen. Keep watching because what happens in the next 60 seconds will be replayed on every news channel for weeks. Don't go anywhere. Sarah stands now too, matching Kim's energy. They're face to face, the camera capturing every micro-expression. She speaks slowly, deliberately, knowing this is the moment everything hinges on. Kim Jong Un, you're 39 years old. You've spent your entire adult life consolidating power, eliminating rivals, building weapons. You've threatened war. You've tested missiles. You've kept 25 million people isolated from the world. But here's what I want to know. When you're alone at night, when the propaganda stops and the cameras are off, are you afraid? Are you afraid that history will remember you as the dictator who destroyed his own people? That your legacy will be suffering, not strength? That when you die, the celebration will be louder than the mourning. Complete silence. The translator looks like he might collapse. He cannot possibly translate this. It's not just provocative, it's suicidal. Kim's officials look ready to intervene. The security team tenses. Sarah has just questioned Kim's mortality, his legacy, and his people's loyalty on international television. This is beyond insult. This is a fundamental challenge to everything the regime stands for. Kim's face is unreadable. 5 seconds pass. 10. 15. The silence becomes unbearable. Sarah's pulse races, but she maintains eye contact. She's gone too far to back down now. Either she's made the biggest mistake of her career, or she's about to get the most honest answer any Western journalist has ever received from a North Korean leader. Then Kim does something nobody predicted. He laughs. Not a cruel laugh or a mocking one. A genuine, almost sad laugh. He shakes his head slowly, and when he speaks, his voice is different. Quieter. More personal. Miss Chun, you ask if I'm afraid of how history will remember me? He pauses, looking directly into the camera. I'll tell you what I fear. I fear that people like you will never understand that the world isn't divided into heroes and villains. I fear that my children will inherit a world where might makes right and the powerful write history to justify their crimes. I fear that in your quest to expose me, you've become exactly what you claim to hate. Someone who judges without understanding, who condemns without context. He steps closer and Sarah instinctively takes a small step back. Kim notices and his smile returns, but different now, knowing. But here's what you should fear, Miss Chun. His voice drops to almost a whisper, but the microphones catch every word. You should fear that everything you think you know is a story someone else told you. And the real question isn't what history will say about me. He pauses for maximum effect. The question is whether you'll live long enough to tell your version of this story. Because the moment you leave this room, you'll realize something terrifying. He leans in close enough that only she can hear his final words clearly. But the microphones catch them anyway. You never controlled this interview. I did. Kim turns and walks back to his seat. He gestures for Sarah to sit as well. She does, slowly, her mind racing. What did he just say? Was that a threat? A philosophy? Both? The interview continues for another 12 minutes, but the energy has completely changed. Kim answers remaining questions with diplomatic precision, offering nothing controversial. Sarah tries to regain her aggressive footing but can't find the angle. Something fundamental shifted in those moments of confrontation. When the interview ends, Kim stands, shakes Sarah's hand again, and leaves without another word. His entourage follows. Sarah is escorted out by officials who won't make eye contact. She's driven back to her hotel in silence. Her footage is reviewed by North Korean censors, but surprisingly, they allow all of it to air. Every insult, every accusation, every tense moment. Why? Within 2 hours of broadcast, the footage goes viral. Not just viral, explosive. News networks worldwide run segments analyzing every word, every gesture. Journalist confronts Kim Jong Un, headlines scream. Tense standoff in Pyongyang reads another. Social media erupts with opinions. Some call Sarah heroic. Others call her reckless. Many focus on Kim's final cryptic statement. You never controlled this interview. I did. Intelligence analysts watched the footage repeatedly. What was Kim's objective? Why did he allow such aggressive questioning? Why did he permit the footage to air uncensored? The debate rages. Some experts argue he wanted to appear tolerant of criticism. Others suggest he was sending a message to the West. We're not afraid of your propaganda. Sarah boards her flight out of Pyongyang 36 hours later. Only when the plane clears North Korean airspace does she exhale fully. She reviews her footage during the flight, watching Kim's expressions, analyzing his words. And she realizes something that makes her blood run cold. He was right. She thought she was challenging him. But he'd turned the entire interview into theater, with himself as director. What happened in that room will be debated for years. But one thing is certain. Nobody who watches the footage will ever forget the moment when Kim Jong Un smiled at an insult and responded with something far more dangerous than anger. If the story made you think, like this video, share it and subscribe, because tomorrow we have another story that will challenge everything you believe about power and truth. 3 months later, Sarah sits in her London apartment, still processing what happened. The interview has been viewed 400 million times. It's been dissected by everyone from political scientists to psychologists. She's been praised and criticized in equal measure. Some colleagues call her the bravest journalist of the generation. Others whisper that she was manipulated, that she played exactly the role Kim wanted her to play. She thinks about his final words constantly. You never controlled this interview. I did. Was he right? Looking back, she sees it clearly now. Every aggressive question she asked made her look fearless to Western audiences. Every deflection he offered made him look measured and philosophical. By allowing the confrontation, he transformed his image from cartoon villain to complex leader defending his nation against Western aggression. And she helped him do it. But here's what Sarah realizes matters most. The conversation happened. For 90 minutes, the world watched a North Korean leader answer questions no one thought he'd face. The footage exists. The words are recorded. And somewhere in North Korea, perhaps someone saw it and thought differently about their world. Perhaps that's enough. The screen fades to black. Text appears. The most dangerous power isn't the ability to silence questions. It's the ability to control how they're answered. Soft, contemplative music plays. The video ends with a final question for viewers. Who really won that interview? Comment below with your thoughts. Like and subscribe for more stories that challenge how you see the world. Because the truth is never as simple as we want it to be.